Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
Grumps and Gramps, tons of laughs with Grumps and Gramps. Grumps and Gramps, tons of laughs with Grumps and Gramps. Grumps and Gramps, tons of laughs with Grumps and Gramps.
Welcome back to Bat Force Radio. This is episode number 11 of Grumps and Gramps show. I'm Grumps. We have
Gramps.
We have Slam Dunk Dave, Everything Batman 219, and our special guest for this episode is Jason Michael.
What's up?
From Canada
or
Canada.
Canada.
From Canada, exactly.
I heard him say it once. I was like, oh, good. It's okay to say when he comes on the show.
That makes sense. Americans, America. Why not say Canadians? Well, and I'm from Canada. That's all there is to it.
How are you, Jason?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. How about you guys?
Doing good.
Can't complain. Got an old fashioned going. Or actually, a meal going.
And a Viking cup, no less.
Arr.
There you go.
Enjoy. So, Jason, I guess I came across your photos during the summer. Like I was telling you before the show, I've been home more often, so I've been getting more into the action figure community. And I came across your pictures, and then I think me and Gramps, so I don't know, one day, this is how things happen with him and I. Like we'll be talking about toys and figures, and did you see so-and-so's pictures? And usually we're talking about the same person. So
that's cool.
Your name came up several occasions, so that's why we wanted to have you on the show to talk about your pictures and how you got started taking action figure pictures and
cool. Thanks.
Your
That's
origin,
awesome.
basically.
My origin story. So
Yeah.
go down the Batman route. My parents are alive. Everything's fine.
Thankfully.
How I got started. You want me to start there?
Yeah, tell us how you got.
Yeah.
Tell us about your fig life.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I've been a collector forever. I have like old 1988 Ninja Turtles still in the wrappers, in the nice, ceramic cases and whatnot. I have like old figures from when I was a kid as well, and I try to keep most of my stuff in boxes, but to the point where it starts to look like hoarding. And so I was scrolling Facebook one day, and I came upon, for some reason it was in the same week, I saw Hot Kenobi, who's a really, really fun photographer, and the picture that I saw was of two beer cans, Superman on one and Batman on the other. Batman was punching the beer can with barely a small dent in it, and then you had Superman that had kicked right through the can. And I was like, this is really funny. He actually used action figures, using it in real time with a physical object that we're used to handling. And I was like, that's interesting that someone actually decided to do that with action figures. I never would have thought of doing that. And then I came across the Sir Dork video that went viral as well, of him just basically setting explosives on fire, some firecrackers and stuff. And I was like, that is really interesting. I had no idea that people were actually taking out their action figures to do something like that. Then I saw Mitchell Wu's work, Sergeant Banana's work, Johnny Wu, and I was like, this is a huge community of these guys. Yeah. So I wasn't aware of any of this stuff. And the one shot that really kind of drew me in was from an account. I think he's from Finland. He's called Klaatu Magnus. We've talked a little bit, him and I. And it was a shot of a Black Series stormtrooper slipping on ice and with the gun, like his blaster falling. And I was like, that is funny. I really enjoyed how he posed it. Everything was super fun about the image. And it just happened to be winter here. They put out the Archive series for the Black Series, and I didn't own a Luke Skywalker figure that I could open. I had like the old Black Series versions that I'd hunted down and managed to keep in their boxes, but they don't look like Luke. They looked horrible. But I have them because of the first editions, and I'm happy to have them. So I went out and I bought myself 3 of the Lukes. Told my wife I got one, and I wanted to have one to keep in the packaging, one that I could open, and one that if ever I decided to take a few photos and I broke it, then I'd have to spare. So I opened one up and started fiddling with them. And I decided, let me take a shot. I'll put it in front of my computer screen on my laptop and just take a photo with my phone. And then I was like, let me dabble in Photoshop a little bit, add a little blaster, look that up, and add a lightsaber effect on it. And I was like, that'll be good. And I actually shared that shot this week because one of my buddies had tagged me. He said, hey, how about you share your first shot versus your latest shot? And so I kind of went digging through my stuff, and lo and behold, you have that Luke Skywalker shot. and it's one of those shots where you're like, I don't want to forget about it, but it does look kind of crummy, But yeah, that was the one thing I decided I'm going to try to do that. And then I think it's the next day I opened up Obi-Wan, and I figured, it'd be interesting to do like a Hoth type shot where he's, Obi-Wan's as a Force ghost. I know how to do that in Photoshop. Could be fun to try that out. So I'll go out front and take pictures of Luke with my phone and try to edit Obi-Wan in and all that stuff. But yeah, so that was basically it. It was just seeing other people take pictures of the Black Series figures, and I was like, I could try to do that. That could be fun.
Now,
And
did you have any background in photography before, or were you just doing these with your phone?
Yeah, I don't have any background in photography at all, actually. I have background in film.
Wow.
I used to shoot short films a while back. I got tired of doing that because of just the logistics involved in finding money, finding reliable people, finding a good idea, people to write scripts. I hate writing. It's really, really annoying to me to just like sit there and like, this person says this and this. I was like, no. I need to. I like the editing process. I like speaking with people, getting them to control the action and all that stuff. It's really pleasant to kind of mold those things, but the script itself is not something I enjoy. And so it just got boring. I had so many projects fall to the wayside just because of scheduling conflicts and whatnot. So I've been going through a patch of, I won't call them failures. It's just like these projects that never really materialized. So I was getting ready we had just finished, I participated in a 15-second horror short film contest 2 years in a row, which I got a little bit of notoriety there, which was kind of fun because 15 seconds is a short time. You got 5 seconds per act to tell your story, which means you have to be really concise. So that was fun. But that was just the amount of patience I had for it. I was like, yeah, if I can do 15 seconds, that's great. A minute gets to be too long. I'm getting sick and tired of this. I want to move on. So even in college, I have a course that I teach, is literature and cinema. So, my background is more in the analysis portion. I know how films are constructed. I studied that on my own. I have a couple of classes that I took in that as well. So my background is mostly film, watching lots and lots of film. So when I picked up, my camera's not even my camera, it's my wife's camera. When I picked up her camera, I had to learn it all from scratch, try to figure out lighting and all that stuff. And so, I mean, you'd think that having a little bit of a background in film would help, but I realized that I'm never touching the camera when I'm on set. I'm usually talking to the actors or saying to the guy, I want this type of angle or something like that. Make sure that the lighting just cuts them off there, but I'm never positioning anything. So that's basically the background I have. When I realized that I could start making one frame of film using action figures, which are essentially actors that don't talk back. I thought that was kind of neat that I could have complete control, like a tyrant over everything.
But
don't talk back. They're always on time.
Exactly.
You don't have to pay them. Well, you kind of do.
You
You have
kind
to
of
pay
do,
for
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
No bathroom breaks.
But you don't have to deal with union.
No, there's the occasional, tip over and fall where you're like, dude, you're supposed to stay straight. But other than that, no, they're quite good.
So that would be like where your storytelling comes through in your pictures, which is, my favorite part of your pictures, to be honest.
Thanks. Yeah, I try my best to tell the story. Not, it doesn't always happen. I mean, like the latest Two-Face shot that I put out, it's a poster shot, and I know it. It's just Two-Face shooting. There's no Batman's in the background, so he's late to the party once again. But I usually like to try to understand framing so that the person can read the picture in a specific way. So I try to add a little bit of emphasis on that. Yeah, thanks for noticing.
Does most of your pictures come from like, all right, so you have a background in film.
Yeah.
But like, do you have like you look at a character, or you look at a figure, and like, all right, I know exactly what I want to do with this. Like, does that idea come from like a movie you've seen, a book you're reading? I don't know. Like, where do most of the ideas come from?
They come from a bunch of places like that. Absolutely. I was there's a Joker shot that I made with Batman not too long ago, where I was just reading Hush, and I was like, hey, wouldn't it be interesting to have Batman choking Joker? A shot we've seen 1,000 times, but I hadn't done it, so I wanted to do my version of it. But sometimes it's just a tone, the type of mood that you want in a shot. You're like, if I could get something that resembles a little bit of The Godfather, if I can get the colors that are in a specific kung fu film, or if I want to go a little bit more punk on this one, where could I get the inspiration from? So sometimes it's just a song I happen to be listening to that day, and then the idea just pops into your head.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Tool's latest record, Fear Inoculum. And for some reason, they've been kind of giving me a lot of juice and a lot of ideas. The last shot, the one on the bike, I was listening to Numa, and it felt like with the white shadow assassin, the white skull agent. I don't know why a motorcycle came to mind. I don't know if it was the drums, the way that they were being played, or something like that. That sounded like a Harley Davidson's engine or something. I don't know, but for some reason, it just sparked in my head. And a lot of people said, hey, man, that reminds me of like Marv in Sin City, who's having a ball dragging that guy across the road. And I was like, shit, I hadn't even thought of that. But that's great that person picked up on it.
That's
so
awesome.
maybe I have to revisit Sin City.
One of my favorite pictures that you've done is it's actually one that I was looking today. It didn't get a lot of likes, but you kind of break the fourth wall. It's the pink skulls, and they're in like these plastic cases.
Yeah.
And your hand is reaching down.
Yeah.
And they're like giving, they're giving attitude, but they're just plastic action figure. I don't know where this attitude comes from. Yeah, that one. Oh man, I love this picture. It's just, I don't know.
That one, there's a big story that comes with that one.
Because even the guy in the case is doing something.
Yeah, he's just trapped in glass. I wanted to give him more like that Han Solo and Carbonite look.
Yeah.
The story behind that one is I actually really like that shot. I was a little bit insecure about it because that was the shot that I shot immediately after I won the Mezco contest. And I recently got a lot of attention. I'm not really comfortable with that normally. And so I was like, I can't follow up, that shot with something that's not going to kind of be good. I have to, so I felt like there was a lot of pressure. I didn't post it, but that's the shot I took right after the contest. I didn't post it then, but it was a shot. Originally, the idea behind that one was I'm going to visit my parents. And it was the first time since the pandemic had started that I'd actually gotten a chance to go visit them. And so this was just me packing my toys and them resisting the packing of the toys. They're like, we're not going back into these cases. Take us in the car with you, not a problem. Yeah. So I had this Toy Story idea. But then I ended up shooting the Popeye shot that we'll talk about most likely later. But that shot eventually, once the I had gotten back. I ran out of ideas, and at one point I revisited that shot, and I said to my wife, I really like this shot. I think the pressure's off now. Maybe I could share it. And I was feeling completely different, and it was fun because I could reinterpret the story of being at the end of my semester, last semester, being just buried in work. I didn't have any time to shoot. I was feeling really terrible, not energized by anything, just trying to get through it. And then the shot took on another meaning where I really wanted to actually reach out and play with them, and I couldn't. So it just became one of those things where I was trying to take them out, but I had to actually put them away again because I have work that's waiting for me.
Yeah.
So it was fun to revisit that shot, have a new meaning behind it a little bit. And so, yeah, it's one of those shots that it could be interpreted in a variety of ways, and I really enjoyed it as a result.
I really like that.
You mentioned the Popeye shot.
Yeah.
That, and when I look at your stuff, I think of you as like almost like a master of practical effects.
Okay.
Because I love your behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I know that you've worked with your dad to help create some of the props.
Oh yeah, but he does most of them. I
think that's amazing. If I ever told my dad that this is my hobby and this is what I do, he'd probably love me. But when I saw this shot with the Popeye,
oh man, that one is great.
I love
and
that shot.
how you made this, I was blown away.
Yes,
I love it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite shots.
Yeah, talk us through this and also how your dad helped out.
I'd been meaning to. My father had sent up a box to me. He had built a dock for me. I since have given that dock to Paige, but my father's building a new one for me. I didn't want to share it here. There's a long story behind it. I shared the first dock that I had made, and I hadn't even taken a shot yet, but I'd shared it to my stories on Instagram, and a couple of people had basically downloaded my stories and built their own docks based on my father's concept, and I hadn't even had time to put it up, and I was kind of pissed off by that, so I decided not to share anything my dad builds anymore until I shoot it. But this one, I'd shown Popeye, I think was my third Mezco figure. I really, really wanted him. I talked my wife into letting me get him because he was pretty expensive, and she said yes. And I remember showing my father. My father couldn't believe it. He says, I can't believe how cool that Popeye figure is. He's always been into action figures, been very supportive of toys.
Cool.
I remember they've never questioned it, my parents, ever.
That's awesome.
The fascination, because they've always seen me as a guy who's had them around. And I remember my father, when I had the Ninja Turtles back in when I was 8 or 9 years old, he built me a sewer diorama that I could actually have them go down in the sewer. He had these these cardboard tubes that you get that you have the wrap, you can actually ship things and all that stuff. So we'd have those. There was a little TV inside of it. Splinter and the Turtles were there, and I could actually put the van on top because it was a road. And so it was really fun. He had built one for my cousin as well. So he's always been into tinkering for those types of things. And then when I started doing this, he asked me at one point, he says, do you need anything? He says, I've nothing to do. I'm retired. Your mom doesn't want to talk to me. No, I'm just joking. He says, find something to do for me so I can pass the time. And then lo and behold, my mom sends me a text message. Can you give him something to do, please? It's like, sure, Ma, I'll find something for Dad to do.
That's awesome.
And so the Popeye shot itself was, I went down to New Brunswick to visit my folks. And I brought Popeye because I wanted to show him so that he understood the size of it and all that stuff. And I gave it to him, and he was like, this is really cool. And I says, how about while I'm here, I says, I'd like to be able to take a shot with you. And I'll show you how I create wave effects and stuff like that. And, we could maybe, work on it together. And he was like, all right, cool. What do we need? And I said, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I have no idea really how to do it. But I had an idea of what I wanted as a type of mood. Yaski76 Felton is one of my favorite artists on Instagram. He's slowed down a little bit right now. I think he's getting married soon. So I don't know if that's why he's slowed down, but he hasn't put out a shot since November. And he had done this Nosferatu shot where he uses a huge bucket of water. Nosferatu is on a like a canoe of sorts, and he had put Rit dye in it, and it just turned the water black. And he put a sheet in the background, and then just used a little bit of fog to have this boat coming towards us with the vampire on it. And I was like, that's interesting. Maybe I could use that to create a shot at some point. And so when I got to New Brunswick, we were fiddling with an idea. I was like, okay, we could get Popeye. I didn't bring the boat. Do you think we can make a boat? My mom says, how about you guys try to build a raft? And I was like, do you think we could build a raft? And he says, well, I got a bunch of dead branches in the back. Let's go figure it out. And he says, how do you want it to look? And I says, well, it has to be wide enough for him to be on it. I said, like Castaway size. You know, we went to look at a few frames of film from Castaway where like Tom Hanks is on it. And he asked me, he says, do you want us to put a little volleyball? And I says, where are we going to get a 112 volleyball? You know, during quarantine, there's no way we can actually go to Michael's for this. And so we went in the backyard. He started putting the raft together. I was like, let's put, you know, the string around it and all that stuff. And I brought the shark, which I had drilled holes in the side so I could prop him up with like these metal wires, you know, something a little bit bigger than that, you know, but 16 gauge, which are pretty rigid, pretty solid. And I said, I have an idea. I said, wouldn't it be fun to like have a shot of Popeye deciding to go fishing, but he's not going to use a fishing rod or a harpoon. All he needs is his can of spinach. And once he sees the shark, he's just going to wrestle him out. Exactly, just punch him out. And I just wanted to get the moment like called fishing time just before he actually lunges in. And so I said, okay, Dad. And he went to get rocks in the garden. So he was just tearing through the garden to get me these giant rocks so we could, you know, I put the metal prongs underneath, the metal, the metal things. The metal wires underneath. So I put the rock in the bottom. What we did is we filled a whole bucket of water. I put a green garbage bag in the bottom because I wanted to have that ocean-like color. The only way I could figure out how to do it is using the reflection from the garbage bag in the bottom that would actually make it look dark. And he had this giant sheet that is white. And if I put it over the railing and just a little bit on his clothesline, the ripple in it actually looked like a gray sky in the camera. So that was pretty cool. And so I said, all right, Dad, we're kind of set up. Let's put Popeye on the rock because there's a rock underneath there. And it's pretty solid there. We don't need to tie him down. All we just need to be careful by blowing, you know, canned air around so we can just create those waves. And so he was like, all right, let's go. So I said, all right. So I handed him the canned air. And he was like, what are you doing? And I says, well, how about I take the shot and you use the canned air? And he says, I don't know how to do that. And so I showed him how to do it and how to capture it in his camera and all that stuff. And he was having a blast. So it was really, really fun to like have him participate by making a raft that's an idea from my mom, and then have him share a little bit of what I'm doing now as a hobby in that shot. So there's a lot going on in the shot that's beyond it, an actual image. And that's why I really, really enjoy that Popeye shot.
It's a lot more than just a photo.
For me,
it's a memory, and that's awesome. I love that story. Thank you for sharing.
That the BTS was great because there's a shot of I didn't send it to Gramps, but there's a shot of Popeye with the raft, and he's like pointing down at it.
Yeah.
And, you know, work in progress, and I guess I don't know, video of your dad carving the raft, and I don't know. There's a lot of great stuff going on there. Yeah.
Shout out to Pops, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
That's fun. Did you get the other pictures I sent you of all the stuff that he built?
Yeah, let me show you. Here's a raft. I'm assuming he built this raft.
That's a boat. That used to be a remote-controlled boat that belonged to my nephew. He doesn't play with it anymore, so my father gutted it so he could have the bottom. But he's the one who made all the oars. Wow. He also made like the little wood on the top. Those little, whatever they're called, I don't know what they are, those little wooden things that are, you know, you put on the side of the boat so that it doesn't hit the dock or anything like that. So, yeah, he built that. There's a fence in the back there. There's also a swing set. Yeah, he built me a crate.
Yeah.
Dude, we're going to get some commissions to Pops, man.
He doesn't want that. That's what he told me. He says, no, he says, I can't handle people online. I don't want any criticism. I'll make them for you. He says, but I ain't taking no money from this.
Man,
So
what else we
He's
got?
really talented.
Here's your fence and your. Dang, he's got a
Yeah,
Yeah.
that little hand truck.
pallet truck and.
Yeah.
yeah, a bunch of stuff. The picnic table, and it's a funny thing because what he does is like a lot of this is popsicle sticks. I think that the picnic table that we see in front there is actually an old blinds that he just found in the garage that he
Wow.
basically taken out of the house that he decided, I'm going to cut these and make a picnic table out of them. So that was really cool. And he loves building this stuff. He just built me a bar.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, he built me a bar, and I can't
Wow.
wait to get that. It's really great. He has the whole display in the back with the mirror in the back where I can put the bottles.
Oh,
He
wow.
made a little tap as well. He carved all the little
Stop.
things.
Unbelievable.
How
Wow.
does he do that?
He
Now I know
just-
where the creativity comes from.
Yeah, from Dad, definitely yes. My mom draws, or used to draw. She paints as well, so there's always been a little bit of our artistic side of my family. But Dad's a tinkerer, man. He just loves fiddling with stuff, solving problems, and he just like, okay, give me the dimensions. What do we need? I remember when I was a kid, he was like, he got a wild hair possessed that he needed a garage, and he just goes get the permit at the town. He invites his buddies over, and his buddy asks him, he says, where are the plans? And he just says, right here in my head. He says, just, let's go get the
Wow.
wood. We're going to build it up. And so he didn't need a plan. He knew exactly what he needed to do, but he's always loved doing that stuff.
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Now, you mentioned when you won the Mezco contest,
Yeah.
and that was an awesome contest. And that was kind of about the time that I had seen some of your prior photos.
Yeah.
But when I saw this next photo, I called it. I said, this is the winner right here.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think I posted that on your account, but this photo right here,
Yeah.
Yes. That
when I saw that, I was like, contest
What is going
over.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's
this is
a fun
why I
shot.
say you're like a master of practical effects. Because tell us how you built this forest scene.
Okay, there's a lot of Photoshop in there, but the scenery itself is all practical.
Right.
I built those trees. I don't remember who I saw a tutorial about a guy. He was using hot glue to create the
Yes.
bark, and so he said basically you take Scott towel rolls or paper towel rolls, and you put hot glue on them, and I don't know what he was gluing them to, but I had glued them to cardboard, which sucked. I had to rip off the cardboard, and I ended up using coasters to keep them flat and some
Okay.
Crayola clay to kind of just mold the roots at the bottom. And so I spent a bit of time building, I think it's 5 or 6 trees like that, testing it out, painting them once all the glue had dried, obviously, and
So you're
using
just putting the
What's that?
glue lengthwise and just
Yeah, and I just use the tip of it to kind of scratch to give it more. Like some people are making the trees, but they leave this giant glue streak, and it just looks weird. So what I did, I was scratching it so it actually looked a little bit more bark-like. And then as the paint was drying, because I would put a coat of black to hide everything, and then I would dry brush a little bit of brown on top and a little bit of green. So when that was drying, I would take tea leaves and kind of just sprinkle it over it to give it a little bit more of a mossy texture. And so I built those trees. It wasn't specifically for that shot, but I was like, it'd be fun to have a forest to play in. So what I did is they wanted a rumble shot for the contest, and we were only going to use their characters. Now at this point, I had Popeye, Netflix Punisher, Joker, Clown Prince of Crime, and I think I had Lone Roach and the Skulls, roughly. So I was like, there's no way I can make a big-ass rumble shot with just those. So what do? I'll try to multiply the skulls because if it's a chaos club, they should be chaotic. And so I had extra heads, so I kind of was able to move them around. So if you look at the shot, the three figures that never move are the ones in the center. So Lone Roach, the guy that's actually flipping, and the guy that he's touching his head.
Yeah.
And then my extra pink skull, I moved him around and I pieced the shot together in Photoshop after.
Yeah, you compressed
Amazing.
several layers together.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And then, I love the lighting that's coming in from the top left.
I wanted to get that because it was one of those instances. I don't remember what kung fu film I'd seen. It was I like the forest scene in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon when Chow Yun-fat is fighting with Zhang Ji in the forest. It looks nothing like that though. It's greener. They're dressed in white, so they stand out quite a bit. And what are they? I think Hero. In Hero, there's a nice forest scene, and also in the House of Flying Daggers, there's a nice forest scene as well. So I figured that if I was going to have a kung fu inspired or a samurai inspired picture, it should be in a forest. It can't be in the city. It would have looked weird. And so that just seeing them though with the pink skulls in the forest doesn't make any sense. But it made sense for Lone Roach to be there.
Right. So you're pretty much a Mezco collector, or do you collect other brands?
I have everything.
Hold on. Let's talk about my past here.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you actually have a print.
Yeah.
Yeah, print. I won this. Jason does a show with the Toy Page.
Yeah.
Weekly show that they do on IG Live. Shout out to the Toy Page, another great friend. So I won this contest. I won this print, which is amazing, and another Lone Roach print.
Yeah, with the fireflies. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was fun.
Cool. It's really cool.
I like that shot a lot too. That one's fun. It's I wanted to see. There's I was toying with the idea. I had a conversation with my dad, and my dad's always fun at putting things into perspective for me, especially when I'm doubting a certain situation. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of show people at different stages of their life and how they react to situations. And so you'll have Grub there that's basically chasing a firefly with a wooden stick. That would be me because that's the way I was handling the situation. And then you have his father just sitting there on the log looking and analyzing the firefly and appreciating it for what it is. And I was like, that's the way my dad handled that situation. And I was like, I'm going to make a picture that kind of captures that a little bit. And I thought that having the fireflies there as a bunch of ideas or a bunch of situations that people deal with and how people observe them, it could be fun to kind of play on that.
Wow.
That's a great thing. I had the week before.
You're a philosopher too, man.
What's that?
You're
a philosopher as well.
No, not at all. No.
When he gets the wine in him, he's a philosopher.
No, I like poking fun with Paige.
I had just gotten the Lone Roach figure like the week before you sent those prints to me. And
that's awesome.
It is and it isn't. I mean, it's awesome to have, but the price was not. I'm sure it is what it is. But I'm sorry I resisted that figure for so long. It's great, and it really. I mean, you made it look awesome in this picture.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Yeah. But that was a giveaway. I mean, people have been very kind to me and receptive to my work and all that. So I kind of wanted to give back a little bit, and I thought that maybe having a little giveaway during Christmas, especially during this kind of shit time. Let's face it.
Yeah.
No one's having fun. Everyone's kind of scared and all that. And just if I could alleviate that type of pressure a little bit, it made me happy and make somebody else happy. It was cool.
Yeah, definitely did.
Now, it wouldn't be Bat Force Radio if we didn't talk about Batman a little bit.
Yes. Favorite character. I love Batman.
So, have you always had like a comic hero background? I mean, have you read comics, or you just like everything? Like Turtles and everything. I mean, what's your history with the geekdom?
Batman's my first toy.
Nice.
I remember my parents say I had Mego, the Mego Batman and Robin.
Yes, me
Oh.
too.
And I don't know where Batman went. I remember having Robin for the longest time. I remember the last thing I saw was his little green rubber shoe. I have no idea where the rest of them went. So I think my parents were just eventually like, well, he's getting too old for these. And apparently not.
Yeah, man.
But comic books, yeah, man. Growing up as an Anglophone in a French-speaking town, you have a little bit of trouble making friends because the culture, the outlook, and whatnot is definitely not the same. So I gravitated towards Batman as a loner and X-Men as an outsider quite quickly. Batman has always been my favorite, though. I didn't know, like, I used to watch because in Baie-Comeau, where I come from, a small town, there's like 23,000 people. They would play Batman 66 in French. I had never heard Adam West's voice, and so I used to watch that after school when I got there. So Batman's always been an integral part of everything I like. There's nothing about Batman that I don't like. But I was never really an avid comic book collector. I mean, I did collect a little bit in the 90s and whatnot. James is going to get pissed off at me when I bring this up. But what brought me back in recently, though, was the New 52 line for Batman. I really, really liked it. And I came in roughly when the Endgame was starting, when they bring back Joker. That whole series, I thought Joker looked great. I'd seen a little bit of images from Death of the Family. So I essentially decided to go back and get the entire back catalog, including all the variants and everything. So I still have that in boxes here. I have like all my old X-Men comic books as well. Spawn, which no one really cares about anymore. I think I have a Savage Dragon #1 lying around somewhere as well.
Nice.
But the things that I have the most of are Batman and Star Wars. So yeah.
Gotcha.
So this is my all-time favorite Jason B. Michael photo.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there you go.
And the way you made this, I was just blown away. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Talk us through this.
The idea, I've always liked Batman's relationship with Selena Kyle. It's one of those relationships that is it's somewhat similar to the relationship that he has with Joker as well. This Romeo and Juliet, a love that can't happen in the sense because they find themselves on opposing sides of the law. But for some reason with Selena, it's okay. He doesn't necessarily have to stop her because she's not as damaging as a Joker is. And I said to myself, how could I tell a story about Catwoman without having a Catwoman figure because I don't own one? And so I was like, well, it'd be interesting if I could. I've always liked seeing Batman in the snow, and I don't know if that was me thinking of Batman Returns for some reason. But I always thought that it was interesting to see Batman in the snow, and I wanted to try to capture a moment where he just arrives a little bit too late and Selena's done something she wasn't supposed to, but there are cats around anyway. And so, yeah, this was I had just received Supreme Knight. I think this is my second shot with him. And I just love, how can you not shoot Batman in his most recognizable pose?
Yeah.
Just this towering thing, but at the same time, looking at this very vulnerable cat, but at the same time, that if Catwoman was around because he's sitting on a body, there's no vulnerability to be there. The cat's just staring right back up at him in defiance, in a sense, right?
Typical cat.
Precisely, And so I think that it captured Selena a little bit as well. She's like, you can't control me. I can do whatever the hell I want. And so this fun picture is, for me anyway, it's all about not Batman. It's actually the opposite. It's about what's not in the picture, and it's about Catwoman. But yeah, the snow is practical. I use flour to do that. It messes up the figures quite a bit, but if you shake them a little bit and use a little bit of canned air, it gets off the cape nice. I wish I would have ironed the cape though. A little bit.
Yeah,
but
he's
using that. He's using
you
that
literally poured flour on a Mezco figure. I was like, the balls on this guy.
You have to see it as a tool, right?
Yeah.
For me, that's the thing. I get these things now, and I have to look at them as tools. There's a few things that I'll be very careful about, but if you want to have a picture or something that you have in your head, you can't see it as an action figure. You have to see it as a tool. It's something that it'll get busted eventually, and I'll probably have to end up getting another one, which is why I have spares on occasion, because I know I'm going to use figures more than once. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things. I watched Johnny Woo, Sergeant Bananas, on Tested, and he was showing how he was doing his practical effects for snow. And so he uses it. I think his technique is better than mine. He uses it just by crumpling it through the palm of one hand, whereas I do the Miyagi slap. Kind of just let it go.
LeBron James.
exactly. And it's just rubbing your hands together, and it creates this cloud of flour. But it was fun. I wanted to try to. I was trying to practice how to do a snow effect, because I'd been doing a little bit of rain during that period. But I was happy the way that one came out.
What I love about this is what you said earlier. Like, and for me, I'm still trying to do pictures, but one of my favorite things about Batman is the silhouette, and I feel like it doesn't. It's not the most exciting or glamorous thing, but you know, if you read the comics, a lot of times he's in the shadows, or he appears, you know, very little of him, upper torso, the cape is covering, you know, it's not always, you see the whole suit. So that's what I love about this. It's a, you know, obviously first my eyes go to the cat, and I thank God Selena was here, but this image of Batman is great.
Thanks.
And this little light behind him, I guess it's shining on the back of his head, or
there's a light in the back there. In the BTS, I missed out on it. It died, so it doesn't look like it's shining. So when you see it in the behind the scenes, the snow that's falling into the viewfinder of the camera, there's no light there. But there was at the beginning, you know, because you need the backlight.
Is that what you get in trouble for? Some people are complaining about your camera battery or something. I know you recently got a new battery.
I did get a new battery. I didn't change it for my last shoot, so I think it's a fun quirk to add a few things. Like I'll occasionally. I almost added a porg in that shot just to piss people off.
Oh, you got in trouble for that with another picture.
Exactly. I put porgs in some of my shots, and then people like, where? God damn it, why is a Star Wars bird in there? And like, why can't you charge your battery? And so I just put them porgs, and I leave my battery like dead so that I can troll people. I do it for fun.
I think we have one of those pictures here. I don't know, with Link.
Yeah, Link. I got
this one.
I got trolled.
I heard you talking about it on the show. I don't even know what those things are. It looks cool in the picture. Who gives a shit? Like,
it's funny. It's like, why are the Star Wars birds there? And I was like, Link is holding an iPhone, and your concern is the out of focus birds. What the fuck's your problem?
Gramps, I gotta tell you, I went looking for that iPhone on eBay after I saw this picture. Yeah. I guess the guy doesn't sell it anymore, but I love this picture.
It, Justin?
Oh. Yeah, I guess he's out. I'm waiting for a couple other props from him, but he didn't have the iPhone.
I have to get an updated version because I think that's modeled off the iPhone 4 or something. Yeah, but so I like that picture a lot. That one, it was a fun way to kick off the year. Those Figma figures, man, they photograph well.
Typical teenager, right?
You know, that's the thing, right? I got that idea from my daughter. I was listening to a conversation. She was talking to her friends over the holidays, and they said bruh every like fifth or sixth word. And I was like, the hell are you guys talking about? And I was like, first of all, you can't say that. It's a version of cultural appropriation. Don't do that. And I said, second of all, why the fuck do you need to say it so often? What are you doing? And so she was like, I don't realize it anymore. So it became cute quite a bit. And I was like, how can I tell that story? You know, because we're living in an iPhone generation. I was like, wouldn't it be funny to, I've had Link forever. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny to have Link just show up to the Master Sword, and it isn't real until he shares it with his friends. It's like what I found, man. Check this out. So he live streams the fact that he's in the Lost Woods, and he finds the Master Sword. Yeah. Check it out, bruh. I found the sword. His plastic action.
Same woods with Roach and the pink skulls. Yeah. On the other side, though.
Well, I put an Ewok in there too. One of the people asked me, was
Oh,
like, "Why
okay,
is there an
yeah.
Ewok in the Lost Woods?" He's holding an iPhone. Why are you okay with the iPhone?
Just enjoy it. My goodness. Jesus. No
Dude, now
rules.
this
Oh,
this
yeah.
one almost looks like a movie.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that shot. I was lucky. I traded figures with Anthony McNeil. I was,
Oh, that guy.
That guy.
yeah,
That
yeah.
guy.
Scoundrel.
What up, man? He'll be watching.
Anthony.
Love that guy.
Yeah, good
I
guy.
was looking for, which Gomez was I looking for? God damn it! Oh, Agent Gomez. I was looking for Agent Gomez. I wanted the first one because I consider him a classic, and I had an extra Shadow Supreme Knight, and he's a huge Batman collector. And I said to him, "All right," I says, "Would you mind doing the trade? You know, I'll send you the Batman figure, and you can send me Agent." And he was already getting ready to send me a Batman because I don't own Sovereign Knight, I don't own Ascending Knight, and so he sent me essentially, an Ascending Knight body with the accessories of Sovereign Knight as well. So it's fun to have that kind of version of Batman too. And seeing as that people kept bitching about how they didn't like John Wick, and I was like, you guys don't see the possibilities that come with the body and a suit that John Wick has. You can do anything you want with that figure. And one of my buddies from Germany, Nicky Tai, he has Thai Lab Customs, and I had asked for a Joker head. I wanted a bearded Popeye, and then he threw in some extra heads. That Joker head is one that he threw in.
Cool.
Wow.
And I said to myself, well, what could I do? I was like, he sent the neck that goes with it. And I decided, are you having another beer? Oh, thanks, baby.
Nice.
Re-up. And I said to myself, wouldn't it be fun to, I think in the New 52, near the end of Death in the Family, just after year zero, where Joker still has trouble with his face, he still starts wearing suits, even though he still has that busted up face. It's like, maybe I could use the John Wick body to have a classy looking Joker who's just captured Batman, and he's in a warehouse sitting on him, and Batman's just helpless, completely beat up. And I said, that would be a fun comic book image to make.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do that one. I shot that one 18 millimeter so that it gives it that long look, you're almost like a fisheye.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I looked. I tried it on my Luke Skywalker shot that I did with the speeder bikes, and I liked that I could get up close. And so I figured, you know what, I'll try to do that, and I'll put a bunch of props in there. Like there's a Joker card at the bottom that's slightly out of focus. There's that Harley bomb there. Casey Jones hockey stick is there as well. So I just wanted to have a moment where Batman was completely vulnerable. Joker's celebrating something. He's got wine coming out of his glass. It could be interpreted as blood in a way where he's even crazier.
That's what I thought at first. It's really an intimate shot. It's
yeah. That's what Leslie told me. My wife, she says, there's a lot of sexual tension in that shot. And I was like, really? I was like, really? And she says, yeah, he's there, man. I don't know. I didn't realize it when I did it.
That was a theme during the Snyder Joker stories. He wanted Batman to himself.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah, that's absolutely right, man.
I think it was the end game. He wanted to get rid of all the other family members and just the two of them.
Yeah.
So
No, that's it. So I don't know. I love the Joker, man. For some reason, there's so much. I don't remember who I was talking to. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. And as I understand that guy more than I'd like to admit.
I think a lot of us do when we grow up. It's like, oh yeah, superheroes. And then it's like, oh, so that's why they're villains.
Exactly. That was my first shot with the Mezco figure.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I when it was the first time I had done the Comic-Con here in Quebec City, and I met a director of photography, and he really enjoyed what I was doing. was like, this is so cool. He says, you make them look real and everything. He says, how do you do that? And I says, no, you're a director of photography. I ask you questions. You don't get to gawk over my shit. I'm not, no way. You have information I need. And so I asked him, I says, listen, if you were to give me a tip, well, just one tip about lighting when you're a director of photography, what would you tell me? He says to me, and I'll never forget this, he said, backlight, backlight, backlight. And I was like, okay, because I wasn't doing that. I was lighting from the side, trying to light from top, but I was never backlighting anything. And this is when I first started backlighting. So you can actually see like he explained to me that what you need to do is you need to detach the character from the background. And the way you do it is by shining a light from the back. So if it really creates that effect that he's singular, that it makes him the complete subject. And so I was like, how do I try that on this shot? And I figured, Joker running in the street, pointing a gun at the Batmobile, at the same time just kind of grabbing his suspenders in a cheerful way.
On his way.
Exactly. It doesn't matter in the middle of the road. Fuck it. I'm just running away. And so it always made me think of Ledger's Joker when he says, do I really look like a guy with a plan? And so I was like, maybe I could riff on that sentence, and that's the caption for that picture is, do I really look like a guy with a plan?
So interesting that you said that about the backlight. And I'm still trying, like rookie, still trying to work at the toy photography, and I follow The Amazing, I watch his videos and all that, and I don't know why. I save a lot of his pictures to try to practice the poses and stuff like that. And I said, what is it about this fucking guy? He takes such great pictures. And I'm struggling and this and that. And then I'm looking at it. It's the fucking backlighting.
Yeah,
He's always got something lit in the... Oh, God.
Whether it's the windows in his backgrounds, whether it's the windows that are lit, there's always something that's going to be separating the characters. He's got that wonderful ring light too. Yeah. But backlight, man. Try not to light in front as much as possible. If you want to light in front, what you need to do is my dad built a rig for me where I just put these rulers on top and I have a light shining. And what you want to do is you just want to have what they call feathering. So it'll just graze certain parts of the figure that'll highlight it, but it'll keep nice shadows. So you never really have to light from the front. Never do that. Always either from the side, from the back, or just slightly from the top.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What
that
I
way you
wanted to
preserve
ask you,
your light.
I try to ask you this a couple times on the hangout, but you guys are talking and busy and stuff. How do you feel about? I don't know if you're familiar with ACBA, like practical effect photography, as opposed to what you do a lot in post. So to me personally, I like both. I think they're both fun and great. But I know some people are like many things are on one side of the fence or the other. Like, where do you fall with that?
I don't get involved in petty quarrels about how people do shit. If the picture looks good, why do I care? You know what I mean? It's ACBA is. I think it's commendable that you want to work with at least one hand tied behind your back. But I try to use Photoshop as little as possible because I'm not that great with it. I mean, I have a not too bad understanding, but I'll use the same things over and over again just because I understand that. I know how a layer mask works, and I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like the two-face shot that I did, I had someone challenge me. He says, "How about you? Have you ever tried ACBA?" I says, "Well, you're going to be disappointed because unless it's a shot like the Skull and the Lone Roach shot where there's a lot of Photoshop involved in that and just having the characters appear, the rest of my shots are pretty practical." And so Two-Face, the only thing is I combined 3 shots for that one because I wanted to have his gun in focus as well. And because I was shooting at f2.8, that's a pretty, shallow depth of field where I could get a really crisp head, but it, the focus stops roughly at right before his forearm starts.
Oh, okay.
And so I want to get an extra shot of just the focus on the gun. And what I can do is I can combine those 2 shots. It'll actually look pretty good. Like the whole shot is going to be for there. So no, it was
And
2 shots then, not 3. But
I had asked you about the effect in the background, the smoke effect. You had
oh,
explained to
that's
me.
fun. I have
Yeah,
that here. I'll show you. Hold up. It's just cotton, man. Super
yeah,
fun to make.
that's really cool.
You know, your wife wakes up one morning and she sees you playing through her cotton batting, painting it. And she's like, "The fuck are you doing?" But yeah, so you have. All I did was I took the metal wire that I showed you earlier, 16 gauge,
Yeah.
and I had built this for my Spider-Man and Green Goblin shot. I wanted this to be the
Okay.
smoke coming out of the glider.
The glider.
Okay.
But then I was like, I can reuse this as an explosion. So this doesn't look like much. But when I have a light with an orange gel, so I have like my little Amron ALM9 from Aputure. So if I light it from the bottom, it kind of, it depends. Like right now, it probably looks like shit, but you can kind of create a little bit of an explosion depending on where you want to light it. So normally in a picture it looks pretty good. I don't know if you can't see it. Like, there you go.
Kind of get the idea now.
Something like that, where So it's pretty fun to be able to create that little smoke effect.
Is that what you used in this photo?
That's
wow,
actually
this is awesome.
that up there at the top on the corner is this right here.
Okay.
And the rest of it is just the rest of like a whole cloud of cotton batting, which is this stuff. Oops. Whatever.
Down goes Fraser.
So it's just that, right? And so what I can do is just kind of use that to create the explosion, where you just shine a light through it and it shines really well. I'll bring some with me and I'll show you using the same light. It's pretty. I got that from ACBA, so they can't say that I'm not trying a little bit.
Children.
So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
So if I decided to put a little bit of black paint on that, it would actually look pretty cool. It's close to an explosion.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's really simple effect. It's really fun. It's useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is a photo that recently got a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
I like this one.
It's a fun one. It's not my favorite, I'll be honest. I wanted to have a shot for 112 Day. I wanted to participate in it, and I just wanted to have. I had already shot one, and it wasn't working. I was having a hard time creating it, and I was like, "How do I tell this story simpler?" I wanted to have a shot for 112 Day where, like, if you start seeing roaches, it was based on New Year's resolutions. If you start seeing giant roaches, maybe it's time to quit drinking. And so everyone has New Year's resolutions. Like, people want to get in shape, people want to stop drinking. So I was like, it'd be fun now that I have it. My bearded Popeye, he kind of does look a little bit like a homeless man. And so I thought it'd be interesting if, using basing myself on People Are Strange from the Doors, which is a song I used for the BTS. It would be fun to have a shot where it's a New Year's resolution. And that's essentially that shot. I had trouble getting it, though. It was really, really difficult shot to achieve. People were weirded out by it, I think, for some reason.
Really?
But yeah.
No, this is fun.
No, I thought it was hilarious because I was like, man, this takes some thought to come up with this idea.
I'll send you the original shot, because the original shot I had like 5 roaches, essentially, like 3 in the background in a park with different heads. I had a roach walking in the background. I had another roach with a John Wick body with cats around him with an iPhone, and then him sitting down next to Popeye. And Popeye just kind of realizing, what the fuck is going on? It's just roaches everywhere. I sent it to Darius and I was like, does this work? And he says, I like it. And then I was like, I don't know why, but I have this feeling that it doesn't work. So I sent it to my trusted Neil's Toys for Life '88, and he was like,
okay, yeah.
"There's too much going on, man." And I was like, God damn it!" And so I had to scrap that shot. I had spent the entire day setting that up, and I had to throw that shot out. And then when I came home from a walk, I was with my wife, and I told her, I said, do you mind? I have an idea. I found a bus stop in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just tell the same story, but using just fewer things. But
Less is more, right?
Sometimes, yeah, and it did get attention. I was really happy. I got featured on LoomCube, and the toy community is awesome because when we're like a small bunch of people, but they come together whenever like there's contests and participation and all that. And with LoomCube, it was really cool because I got voted. I won a cube. So awesome. I had never tried that. I think I have also I have a snoot here that I tried to put on one of my Lytra lights and it doesn't work. I thought I'd cheat my way into it, but apparently no, it works only with the adapter that they have. So I won that. They haven't contacted me yet. They wanted my information. I sent them that, but they haven't seen my message for some reason. So I have no idea what's going on there.
They will.
That's a good segue, right, Gramps?
Yeah. I mean, not only are you the master of practical effects, but you're also the king of segues because they are actually a sponsor of our show. Okay. And so as our guest this month, we will be giving you a LoomCube Mini.
No fucking way.
You also go on to their website, and if you use the BatForce 10, you get a 10% discount code.
Dudes.
So we will be sending you a Mini to go with your shots, to help make more of your shots.
All right, tag you in all my shots from now on then. I was like, this is brought to you by BatForce Radio.
There you go.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. That's super kind.
We're huge fans of yours.
So. Oh well, thanks. I'm always amazed that people actually like what I do. So I'll take it. It's fun. I'm having fun, and I'm enjoying the fact that people are having fun. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
How did you guys? Let's talk about you guys a little bit. You guys, Batman? Is that you guys are BatForce Radio? Is that your main character?
That's
everything Batman. So you, Mr. Tall Guy, how did you get into comic books, man?
Kind of obvious. Me, my father bought me comics when I was like 5 or 6, and I stopped for a while. I got into basketball. Clearly, I have to. It's either that or soccer. I don't know. After college, I finally stopped playing basketball. No, I played basketball for another couple of years. I started working across the street from Midtown Comics.
Oh shit!
So I was working with my buddy Steve Teasus, and he was like, "Hey, dude, because the company we worked for had like DC licenses and Marvel, so we made hats and backpacks and wallets and all that stuff." And he was like, "Yo, you're into comic books at all?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm into Batman." And we went across the street, and I was like, "All right, maybe I should read comic books again." That was 4 or 5 years ago.
Roughly the same time as me. Cool.
Got back into it, so that was. I'm happy I'm back into it. It's like my zen.
Dave, why don't you shamelessly plug your own show?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shameless plug, everything Batman show.
Might as well. All right, so guys, for anyone who's listening or watching or right now, I started my own show, Everything Batman. Pretty much is a way of getting people from the community together, getting to know one another. Whether you cosplay, you collect, you flip comics, you collect comics, you're on a podcast, you're on a YouTube channel, whatever. I want to have you on, want to get to know each other. I want to build a community to be stronger, more familiar with each other. And just be friends and see each other at Comic-Cons, have a good time, have drinks, eat pizza, whatever. I just want to make sure we all get to know each other. Everything Batman is currently on SoundCloud, on our YouTube channel. And waiting for permissions for iTunes and Spotify. So shortly we'll be on there too. Just recorded our first episode. We'll be out on Friday.
Cool.
And this is something that's been in the works for quite a while. So I'm really excited and glad that you got this going now. Yeah,
I've even before I became part of the crew, I was thinking about this. And 2020 was a shit show. Now 2021 is going to be the show.
Yeah,
very cool. And what's your favorite Batman storyline, man?
That's tough.
I mean, just one off the top of your head. I know it's hard. You'd ask me the same thing. Which one?
DKR. We watched. You read
Okay.
Frank Miller, and it's like, holy shit! Like it still carries on with today,
Yeah.
politically, or like the way people just mob into certain things. Like DKR overall.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm due for a reread of that one. I like the animated that they did as well. It was pretty good.
Oh, it was so good. One of the
Very, very, very close. I just wish that they had like the internal monologue, but
Right.
yeah, they did a really good job. I like that they cast Peter Weller as Batman instead of Conroy. It took me a little bit to get used to it, but then I understood the reason why. I mean, just the pace and the sternness of his voice really fit that
Right.
older.
I got a funny Batman story for you guys. Last year for my birthday, one of my good buddies had Conroy send me a birthday wishes.
Okay.
In Batman's voice, and it was really cool. So I had Conroy
Awesome.
just going through it. Happy. I heard today is your, I am Batman. I heard today's your birthday, Jason, and all that. And I was like, holy shit! I got
That's
Conroy
amazing.
on my April 2nd going like, fuck. And I thought this was a joke because I had seen like a message pop up in my emails, and it was like your what is it called? Cameo from.
Okay.
Conroy is available now. I was like, fuck this spam message. Why would Conroy be contacting me? And then my buddy messages me on my birthday, says, so, did you get the email? It's like, why are you sending me emails? We text, dude. So he's like, nice, I sent you a birthday gift. And I was like, okay, what is it? And so he basically downloaded the video to his phone and then sent it to me by text because he didn't. I was like, fuck this. I'm not checking my emails.
shit.
Exactly. Screw you. I deleted that. But
That's
now
hilarious.
It's
And
really
suddenly
cool.
you were 8 years old again.
Oh, absolutely. I'm 8 years old every day, man. You should talk to my wife.
Yeah.
She's surprised I'm still alive. What about you, Grumps? Gramps, sorry.
Yep.
Batman. Is that your big guy too? Obviously, Bat Force Radio, or
Yeah. The moniker Grandpa Batman comes because
Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight.
Dark Knight
Returns,
I'm
sorry.
a huge Frank Miller fan, and about the time Instagram started, I had bought that animated movie, and it came with this little this guy came with this guy.
I got that
Very
guy.
cool. Yeah.
And
Grandpa
I thought,
Batman.
oh, this would be cool. I'll take this little guy and just kind of do little everyday things. This Grandpa Batman eating a sandwich with something, whatever. Stupid.
Cool.
Well, it stuck. The name stuck, and people liked whatever.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So that's kind of where my account is based on. I'm like James. I'm a very novice photographer. So that's why, like, when we get someone like you, or we see accounts like you, we gravitate because we want to learn. Because what you do to us is like, whoa, this guy's like a rock star, man. So,
Oh, come on, no way. I'll show you guys something before. I know you guys want to hang up now, and I'm getting annoying. So I'll show you. Just to you guys, because this is my next shot I'm working on right now. I managed to piece him together from a variety of little places, but I don't know if James is going to be happy about this, but it doesn't matter.
Let's see.
But
Is this something you showed me? You showed me something recently. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
So fix it.
So
That's awesome.
I managed to piece them together. These are like tools that I got at Michael's.
okay.
I got the suit from GPS lot and the body as well. This is the head that my buddy from Germany sent me. And so I was really happy to be able to put them together, Joe the mechanic.
That's
and
cool.
so I'm working on this. He'll be my next shot. A nice
Cool.
new Joker shot.
That's really cool.
Right here, the Doc Nocturnal gloves, they work fine for him.
Oh, okay.
So nice and skinny too. Just the
Is
way
that
he's
the
supposed to
same
be.
head from the other shot?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And now he's on the body he's supposed to be.
Yeah,
And I was
cool.
very happy to get that. So he looks really cool.
That's so good.
That's another good thing with Mezcos is that you can kind of mash them up to get almost custom figures. I've got the Black Mask, and I put the Punisher head on him, and I put the Blade leather coat on him, and I found a fedora, and then I found a red scarf from GPS Lot to make the shadow.
The shadow, man. Yeah. I wish they'd release him.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah, but that's cool. That's a great kit bash, man. To have the shadow figure and all that.
Super easy. Super easy.
Yeah.
So
I love that shadow. Dick Tracy would be fun for them to do as well.
Green Hornet, Phantom.
Yeah,
Lone Ranger.
Get all those. Those would be really
Lone
fun.
Ranger. Yeah. All those pulp style heroes. I really love those.
Yeah, but I'm really pleased with this guy. This is it's a fun one to have, and I like it. I'd seen the editions that they'd put out, and I wasn't too thrilled with them. But just having like the soft goods, it changes how a picture looks. You don't have that shine.
Yeah, it takes away that gloss.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but cool.
Well, I think that's a good way to wrap it up, Jason. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Jason.
Anytime, guys. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting me over. I always appreciate it.
We would love to have you back sometime.
And thanks for the like, guys. That's amazing.
We'll get your contact information and get you hooked up.
I got to get sponsorship too somehow, somewhere. It gets expensive after a while. But yeah, contact me if you guys need any help. Like I'm always willing to help people I know a little bit better. If you guys need any lighting and stuff like that, I'm still learning this shit myself, but I'd be happy to pass on what I do know right now. So hit me up anytime. Yeah, well, I mean it's not secrets. I basically borrowed and stole from everybody else. So why would I start gatekeeping?
There you go. So it's at Jason B. Michael on Instagram.
Yeah.
TikTok as well, correct? You do TikTok?
Yeah, for some reason TikTok blew up recently. I don't know. I got not a huge following, but for some reason, like my daughter was like, "You should try TikTok," and I was like, "Nah, I'm 40. There's no way." And so I gave it a shot. It wasn't working. I decided to scrap it. And then for some reason, I uploaded the video of me taking the shot of the Swedish chef from the Muppets chasing the Gamorrean guard. And that's got like over 600,000 views now on TikTok.
Wow.
It just blew up my account for some reason. And then everybody started shifting over to Instagram. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm a one-hit wonder. At least I got that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thanks so much, guys. This is really fun.
You're welcome. Well, give a second for
what?
And we're done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
That's how we'll end it, just like that.
Just like that.
Just confusion. Like, huh?
Just like that.